All right, lots going on. Husker Online, m3.com is the place to go. Lots of stuff. There'll be video coming up here shortly. That'll include the man, the myth, the legend, Stephen M. Simple, who joins us now. Good morning.
Okay, how are you guys doing?
Doing fine. How about yourself? How was the week?
I'm a little
Okay.
muted. I'm a little muted because I'm in a breakfast situation, but I think nobody's paying attention, so we're all right.
Are you at a Wheatfields?
No, I'm at Spring Hill Suites.
Oh,
That's right. You are covering Nebraska basketball, correct?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm in Memphis.
Oh, you are?
assume,
Okay.
You know,
How
yeah,
is
you
the
shouldn't-
How is the hotel?
I mean, from what I've seen so far, it's wonderful.
Okay, let's talk about let's talk about the clientele that's eating the free breakfast. Give us a little play-by-play.
Oh, I know there's one Nebraska guy because he looked over and gave a thumbs up. He doesn't. He's not adored in red. I guess he could be any. Could be a New Mexico Lobo for all I know, but I don't think so. It is it's a interesting crowd. I mean, it's diverse. It is.
Are people dressed?
I'm gonna look how they're dressed right now.
Like, are they in
Yeah,
robes?
they
And okay, so
Nope.
okay.
No, they came down ready
All
Okay,
right.
for the day. It looks
Good.
like.
What?
I mean, some gym clothes. It looks like.
Yeah.
Some of that. Some people in business attire.
Okay, so it's a nice mixture. It's a typical Spring Hill Suites.
Yeah. There's a nice park. I'm looking outside the door, and there is a nice park. I don't think we're walking distance. I mean, because we're so close to the Mississippi, I don't think we're walking distance to the FedEx Forum.
okay.
We're really close to the Mississippi.
Okay.
I mean, I'd say 100 yards,
Whoa.
maybe a little more than that actually, but I
Okay.
can see it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's unique. You go to St. Louis and Memphis, and you might run into the old Mississippi.
The old miss.
Yeah.
The old man.
Yeah.
What's your at a typical, because you do a lot of traveling for work, covering events, so you stay in hotels that offer a free breakfast. What's your go-to breakfast item at the free
Lot of
hotel
eggs.
breakfast? A lot of what?
A lot of eggs.
Yeah.
Late in life, I've discovered that there's that myth we grew up with that eggs were somehow bad for you. Eggs are really good for you. And so I load up on eggs and a lot of oatmeal and raisins.
Okay. All right, that
And
keeps
I'll
you.
get some coffee on the way out.
All right, that keeps you spry. But before we talk about your assignment for the next couple of days,
Yeah.
how did we get to an athletic director so quick?
Yeah, there's a lot. I was kind of, when I saw the number flash up, the first thought in my head was, oh, this is a little daunting because I don't know much. I don't know how we got to this point. It's amazing. And I was flying. Some of it I was just scrambling yesterday, the whole day. And yeah, how do you get to AD in 6 days? It sort of flies in the face of all the protracted searches we've seen at Nebraska over the years. I'm not just talking about this latest president deal. I mean, over the years, if there's an AD opening, you just could count on at least a month almost, right?
Right.
Or more. And just to get a president identified at least and an AD in 1 day is pretty jarring, but it's good. I suppose it's good. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to go too far into that. I don't know what that beeping is, by the way. But
The pancakes
I
are
don't
done.
want to go I don't want to go too far down the road of, it worked out, because I don't know how it's going to work
Right.
out. I mean, I'm done with that. Just saying, okay, this is going to work. I don't know. We've seen some pretty glaring examples of it not working, but they got it done, and we'll go from there. How it got done, it's interesting because you don't know. I mean, how do you do it without it seems like Kaborik led the way, the interim president. I have to think Gold was involved to a certain extent, if not to a large extent, even though he's not technically the president yet.
Yeah.
which I guess the conclusion I come to is that we shouldn't get too caught up in the procedural questions.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's the most informative thing from this whole process. Don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in the 30-day vetting process.
Mm.
Don't get caught up in, I don't know, when they have search committees and stuff like that. A lot of that seems like it's sort of extraneous. Especially seems like that today when they just went out and got an AD in 6 days with an interim president.
Is it a coincidence that the event that you're there to cover, that we get not only the president, the naming of the president, but also athletic director done before Nebraska hits the hardwood? It's just one of those questions that I think came to a lot of people's mind yesterday of, wow, this is interesting that this is done before we see the next big Nebraska athletic event.
It's interesting, isn't it? Did Nebraska feel compelled to move quickly because of that? Because this event in Memphis and the event in Corvallis would be marred somehow by Trev, and Trev's presence, and maybe the media's how they handle. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's I can't say that I was thinking about that. Oh yeah, they're going to move fast. In fact, I wasn't thinking, oh, they'll move fast. They'll move fast because they'll want to have someone named before the Memphis, the first round of the NCAA tournament begins. Right. I wasn't of that mind. I mean, I thought it was unfortunate that the NCAA committee did what it did, but I didn't think it would lead to this. Not that it's bad. I mean, it's good. I'd say it's interesting. And I think it could help. But yeah, you know what though? I mean, I think you guys would agree that this is just all sort of unfortunate for Fred Hoiberg and his team. Because look what we're doing right now. Yeah. I'm talking about them. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's just the way it goes. But I wish it wouldn't have happened that way for those guys.
Hey, go back to Monday. And when Rule spoke, and he was Matt Rule. I mean, that's he knows what to say, how to say it, when to say it. But what was maybe one or two of the most important things where you perked up that he said about either his football team, where they're at going into year 2, or the general vibe of the University of Nebraska athletics?
Oh, I perked up in several instances when he eloquently went through what he wanted to see in a AD. I perked up. He wanted someone with unbelievable urgency and someone who was, ready to kind of take on the shifting landscape. I don't know that I perked up, but it was interesting to me how, he was really classy in the way he discussed Trev Alberts and the way all that went down. He was very complimentary of Trev, and it's not easy. It's not hard to do. Trev did a lot of good things, and he was a good AD. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Rule made that clear in saying that he left the place better than when he found it, and praised him. Those were things that stood out. Those things, maybe as far as his team, that really stood out was his quote about, one thing we've done well here is we've put a lot of talent. We put a lot of talent on the roster. Then right around that point, he said, we're going to give this team the gift of high expectation.
Love that phrase.
Right. So, I mean, he's kind of set the tone, right? He set the tone for his team. He set the tone for the fan base. He's saying we should expect more. And I think that, I agree with him. His roster's not bad. It's a pretty good roster.
And does that make you give you a feeling of spring ball? Does it have maybe a different tone, different feel to it than it did a year ago? I mean, there's naturally the feeling out process that was a year ago, but holding guys accountable, a lot more accountable in spring, knowing that expectation amongst the coaching staff and amongst that team is ramping up. Does that kind of change the overall look of spring ball in your opinion?
Well, yeah, in that I think that players will hold each other accountable maybe more now that they know how to do it. How to do it in the context of that coaching staff, because that all changes a little bit. So I think it becomes more about that in year one of spring ball when everything is incredibly fresh. Everybody, yeah, they are feeling their way along. It's harder to hold others accountable when you're not even sure what you're doing, right? Now these guys, particularly the veteran, well, not just the veteran players, guys who've been in the program, guys who went through last year, they can better hold each other accountable because they know what's expected of them from the boss.
Yeah.
And they just know what things change when there's a new coach. Different things are asked of players, and they're all feeling their way along. There's no feeling their way along now. Now there's 23 new guys there. There's 23 new guys on hand for spring ball. They'll be feeling their way along, but but on that count, it doesn't feel like Jamal Banks is having much trouble.
No.
They put him. Oh yeah, and that was another thing that was very revealing. I thought that the first player to take the podium was Jamal Banks, which tells you a lot right there.
Steve Sipple joins us from Spring Hill Suites in Memphis, Tennessee, eating breakfast with a lot of other people. Let's talk about the basketball team. So I ran into, and people will recognize this name, and ironically, because they honored the 20 years of that Big 8 tournament championship team, I ran into Nick Joes yesterday, who was at Nebraska. Whoa. Yeah, so he was at Nebraska. He was the sports information guy for basketball. He was Danny's right-hand man. He left here. He went to Waco. Then he went to Columbia. He's back at Iowa State where his career began. And so I ran into him yesterday downtown, and we were reminiscing about the times where Nebraska got to the NCAA tournament in the 90s and came up short. And I said, I think the one year where I thought Nebraska was going to win was the 90-91 with Rich King, Bo Reed, all of those guys, and they lost in the Metrodome. They couldn't hit free throws, got beat by an experienced team in Xavier. There were other moments where, they went to Cincinnati, they went to Long Island, just, either they were worn out from the Big 8 championship run or they just couldn't do things. Even out in Boise, where they got beat by Arkansas and they were winning. But there was only one time during that stretch where I thought, okay, Nebraska's going to win this game. Even in the matchup that Nebraska lost when Miles was there, I'm not picking Nebraska. Now they're wearing white for the first time in 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Is this of the teams that you've covered that have made the tournament? Is this the one that you think can do it and get that monkey off the back, or that thing that hangs around the program that they've never won an NCAA game?
Yeah, I'm like you though. I mean, I thought those other teams had it too. So how will they play? How will they react to the big stage? Is a lot of this, right? I mean, they know they know. Those kids know. They've talked about it. They know what's at stake. They know that this would be the first win and all that. Here's the thing. I kind of go back to what I said at the outset. There's just too much I don't know. Here's the thing. I know a lot about Texas A&M statistically, but I haven't looked at them yet. I was going to look at them today.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what that team looks like. I want to see a little bit more video of them because I want to see if they got somebody to guard Casey. Mm-hmm. Do they have I don't think they have a Terrence Shannon. Not many people have a Terrence Shannon. Terrence Shannon caused Casey a lot of problems. Do they? There's other guards that do. Do they have those type of guards? Number one, there's a part of me, guys, that I don't want to make it too complicated here. Nebraska's a really good defensive team. And now I know what you're going to say. Well, yeah, they gave up 58 to Illinois in the second half. They're great. No, they've been good. They've been a good.
They have.
They're very good defensive team. And A&M's a horrible offensive team. I like that mix. If you're a Nebraska fan, you're a very good defensive team. They can't shoot it. They're a poor shooting team. Now they're a great rebounding team. So I don't know how much. Maybe it just becomes a matter of how much can A&M offset it. Scares you a little bit, those wins that A&M has that you guys have talked about. They beat Kentucky twice. They beat Iowa State. They beat Tennessee. That gets your attention,
Sure.
right? Those are real wins. So, some of it is which A&M team shows up. That's what people will tell you. They have been playing well late. They'll be dogged competitors. They'll make it tough. But if they don't hit shots, if Nebraska hits 10 threes and they hit 3, and Nebraska plays its typical defense, I would like Nebraska's chances.
I'm assuming, Sip, that you're going to be around the team watching maybe open practice and getting the chance to kind of see how they take in the 24 hours leading up to this. How intrigued are you just on how they carry themselves today? Because again, it's a veteran team, but it's a team that both individually and together haven't been in this moment. How much of just their overall demeanor today gives you an indication of where their mind's at going into tomorrow night?
Oh, I think you look at that, but I think I know what to expect because they're older guys. These are veteran players. The key guys are veteran players. Bryce Williams, if you ever watch him, is always the same.
Mm-hmm.
Watch him in warm-ups, watch him in the games. You see his demeanor change much?
No.
You really don't. Casey, you know exactly what you're getting, right? You don't know if the ball's going in. You don't always know that, but you know what Casey's going to bring, right? Generally speaking, you do. Rink, you always know what you're getting from Rink in terms of effort.
Yeah.
It's never when Rink struggles. It's not because what's the deal with Rink?
Mm-hmm.
Why is his palms up? Why does he not have energy? Josiah Alec, you know what you're getting every single game from him. Wiltshire, ball doesn't always go in, but I've never watched Wiltshire and thought, he's not interested. And they're older guys. I don't think they'll tense up because of the moment. They can tough environments, tough situation. If I was Fred, in fact, I'd just act like it's another game.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me the other day, if you were Fred, what would you tell them in the pregame? I know what I'd do. I wouldn't even address the big picture. It'd be assignment based. This is what we got to do. And then the rest of it, these guys know. We don't need to address that. So, getting back to Gary's question, I'm confident because these guys are veteran guys. They're men.
Mm-hmm.
They're not – you don't see them flake out. When they lose, it's not because they're flaking out. They just lose. So, you can tell I like their chances, except it's a tough matchup.
Yep. They got the identity of their head coach. Sip, we appreciate it. We'll let you get back to your hot breakfast that is complimentary until 9 a.m. You could take in Court Square Park. That's the park you're looking at. And you know what, Sip?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's called Court Square Park.
You just looked all this up during the
Crime statistics are not available. Also, it's only a 13-minute walk to the Memphis Rock and Soul Museum.
Okay, I'm more interested in what the minutes are to FedEx Forum. Can you see that?
Yeah, 1 second here. Well, you are downtown.
Close to the river, though. Yeah, we're downtown-ish, yeah.
Are you interested in Graceland at all?
I
That's a drive.
was interested until I saw the prices of the good tour.
Oh, okay. And you got to do the good tour. You don't want to half-ass
No, here's
that.
what you do, Sip. You go pull out outside, take some pictures, put on the Elvis channel on the satellite radio, and it's the same thing at half the price.
Ooh, that's not
Actually,
a bad
none of
idea.
the price.
Okay, so you are about an 18-minute walk from FedEx Forum. Yeah.
That's right on the border of what if you want to do that or not.
Yeah, it looks like you'll get to walk by the YMCA.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Then you'll get to walk by the minor league ballpark there where the
you
Memphis Redbirds play.
Nice.
Oh, we're on that side. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see how all that goes. I don't know. Robin kind of Robin Washut kind of dictates all that stuff.
Okay, and you're not very far from where the Firm was filmed.
Ooh, great movie.
The Peabody.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, go see the Ducks.
there's some stuff on the Mississippi River Park where it was filmed as well.
Yeah, that last scene.
Oh, I didn't. Okay. All right.
Where he's
So
running
you're-
from the
you're-
albino guy.
You're in a good spot. So have fun over the weekend there in Memphis.
Yeah, it's pretty good intel. Thank